All right, 9 o'clock, I hereby call the meeting to order. We need approval of today's agenda.
I make the motion.
Second,
Second?
approved?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, today's agenda is approved. We need approval of last meeting's minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. New business.
Agenda today. First, we are asking to approve minimum qualification updates for our promotional positions within our fire department. If you go ahead and in your packet, take a look at firefighter engineer, we'll go ahead and begin there. And this is on page 1 towards the bottom. So today, the majority of the updates that I will be asking for you to approve will include language cleanup, clarification as to when minimum qualifications need to be met, and then consistency throughout the ranks. So if we have an associate's degree in one rank, we want to make sure that's also a requirement in the ranks above it. So again, starting with firefighter engineer, you're going to see that we're going to go ahead and clean up the language, clarifying in the very beginning where it says 1 completed year of satisfactory service at the rank of firefighter first class. And then we are actually going to add in that they must have this requirement by the original date of the examination. And then for the certification of Fire Officer 1, they must possess that upon application. Okay?
Okay.
So when did they have, what did you count before for the year?
It was upon original examination date, but we want to make sure that our candidates who are applying for this have that clarification when they're applying.
So that was what it was, you're just stating it.
That is correct.
Okay.
I have a quick question. Are these hourly employees or salaried employees?
Sure. Let me go.
Because I see.
I can answer that
salary
Oh, okay,
There
perfect.
that says hourly and salary.
These are hourly
These
employees.
are hourly. Okay, that's fine. That's all I need
Thank
to
you.
know.
Okay. Then moving on to fire lieutenant. Again, on page 1 towards the bottom. Again, some more language cleanup. And then we're adding that they must be a firefighter engineer within the Davenport Fire Department by the original exam date. And then again, possess their Instructor 1 certification upon application. Okay. Moving on to fire captain. And this will be on page 2. So more language cleanup, adding that they must be in the rank below that by the original examination date. And then if you look below, we currently in the first paragraph mentioned that they do need to have a 2-year degree in a fire-related field or equivalent college-level courses relevant to the position. So we're going to clarify that the 2-year degree where they must possess an associate's degree or 60 college credits. If someone's going for their bachelor's and they've already completed 60 college credits, we want the candidates to know that we would accept that as a minimum qualification. And again, in fire science or closely related field upon application. And Instructor 1 is already in the first paragraph, but we've broken it out and stated that they must have that upon application. Okay.
Where does one get a degree in fire science? And just locally? Is there a place?
It can be locally, yeah, or
Yeah, sorry. Okay. You might want to sit in the front
Chief
row.
Carlson.
No, those are good questions. I can tell you locally, Blackhawk College has a program, Kirkwood has a program. We're also partners with Columbia Southern, and so a lot of our firefighters are using online teaching through that too.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next would be our district chief. So under minimum qualifications towards the bottom, again, they must have 5 years of experience as a fire officer by the original examination date. We're also adding in knowledge of Davenport streets and advanced training and incident command, because this is a requirement of the lower rank. And then again, the associate's degree, it was already in there, but we're also adding the 60 college credits upon application, and then some language cleanup. If you turn it over to the second page, we're actually removing where it did state testing can occur as long as eligibility of all qualifications are met by the date of the certification of the Civil Service Commission. So again, it's clarifying for what we've done in the past and making it consistent throughout all positions and all ranks.
So in the fire department, you go first, whatever. Firefighter 1, then you go to the
Engineer,
engineer, and then you go to a lieutenant. Lieutenant is in charge of each station, or? I guess I'm just curious how the order, what people do.
Correct. You started out correctly. So we have firefighters, and the first promoted position is engineer, and they're the driver operator of the vehicles. Lieutenant is a company officer. They're responsible for one company. Then we have captain, which is also a company officer, but they're responsible for a station or a company of itself. So a lieutenant will be responsible for the men and women underneath them for a 24-hour shift. A captain's responsible for their assigned company on the other shifts too. So they have to monitor all the duties and responsibilities for that station and that company.
Okay,
And then it moves up to district chief.
Pardon?
Then district chief is the next position.
Okay, and that does,
The district chief is responsible for managing the day-to-day operations of their shift. It's the first step outside of the bargaining unit, first step into fire management. They also act as incident commanders at fire scenes and multi-company incidents.
okay. I guess one other question, I've always was curious, because most fire departments everybody's in the bargaining unit up to a certain level.
Correct.
So you have certain supervisory personnel that are in the union.
Correct. The lieutenants and captains are.
I guess if there was a conflict where both were potentially, somebody disciplines somebody, but could be a problem, fall back on them. I guess who does the union represent?
Discipline, I'll refer to.
So those supervisors, I think more the union supervisors are supervising work, a fire scene, not necessarily doing discipline and performance evaluations and that of their other union members. If it's discipline, that's handled at the assistant chief level, so that's outside of the bargaining unit. Certainly, if there's a performance issue, they can communicate that, but that would be handled outside of the union. It wouldn't be a union supervisor disciplining a union employee.
Okay, thank you.
okay. Then moving on to Fire Assistant Chief of Operations. Again, on page 2. Okay. So clarification on when they must have the 5 years of experience as a fire officer by the original exam date. We're also adding knowledge of all Davenport streets and advanced training in incident command. And then adding that they must have an associate's degree or the 60 college credits in the fire science or closely related field upon application. Moving on to Fire Assistant Chief, our Fire Marshal. And on page 2, again, stating that they must be in the ranks by the original examination date, adding the knowledge of all Davenport streets and advanced training in incident command, and then adding that associate's degree or the 60 college credits.
So the fire marshal investigates causes for fires? That's the difference between that and the operations person?
Correct. We do have other arson investigators within the department, but the fire marshal's responsibility is to lead the investigative aspect. He also works with building department for pre-plans, occupancies for buildings, making sure fire codes are actually enforced throughout our community.
So that would be more of like a staff position than
Correct.
a line
Yep.
position?
Yes. Those are 40-hour positions for the operations chief and also for the fire marshal.
Okay.
Okay, moving on, the next two positions for updates to minimum qualifications will be our Packer driver loader position. And then turning over to page 2. So first, we are requiring, I'll go ahead and go into details here shortly, but we are requiring more driving experience, but lowering the driver's license requirements for applicants. So that way we can have a larger applicant pool. So currently, applicants must have 1 year of experience operating solid waste collection vehicles or equipment or other related automotive equipment. What we're asking is that applicants have, again, 3 years of driving experience and 6 months of experience in heavy manual labor or an equivalent of combination of experience. And then we're lowering the minimum qualifications for our driver's license requirements for our applicants. So we're asking that applicants have a valid driver's license upon application, obtain a commercial driver's license permit within 30 days of appointment, and then obtain their Class B commercial driver's license with air brake endorsements within 60 days of appointment, and then maintain that throughout duration of employment. And then on the next line, for background and physical check, it is a requirement of the federal motor carriers that we do have random drug and alcohol that programs for all CDL drivers.
Heavy manual labor constitute, how do you define that?
Sure. If I were to be reviewing minimum qualifications, if somebody was, let's say they did roofing, if they did landscaping, so that is the type of heavy manual labor that we are looking for. I'd have to review every application and make a determination that way based on.
It wouldn't mean that you could lift more than 50 pounds or something.
So.
It's more what they did as opposed to physically lifting or something.
Correct, that is correct, because this is a physically demanding position with yard waste, bulky waste. Okay. Next, I'll move on to lead maintenance specialist. This is a promotional position in our facilities maintenance division of Public Works. So right now, it does say that you need to have 5 years of experience as a senior maintenance specialist, which is the one level below the lead maintenance specialist. To open up our candidate pool, we would like to remove senior maintenance specialist and have applicants have 5 years of experience in the skilled performance level of varied trades, which could be electricity, carpentry, plumbing, or specialized area painting. Again, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. And then in the next paragraph below, you do need to have a commercial driver's license. However, this division does not have vehicles that require a CDL, so we're just asking that they have a valid driver's license. Okay. And then if you.
So somebody could conceivably, the lower level could skip a level to go to lead.
Correct. If they had the minimum qualifications, they could, yes. And then if you turn that over to page 2, we're actually adding on the physical examination and then our standard background check.
So the city physical examination, would that be similar to like what drivers have for a CDL?
I'll take that one. So each position, if it's a physically demanding job, we have worked with our occupational health provider. They've developed very job-related physical exams, so it depends on the position. So for an office position, we wouldn't do a physical and a functional screen and all of that. So they come on site and look at what the position requires, the bending, the pushing, the pulling, and all of that, and they tell us what the physical should be. So it depends on the job. This position in particular, I couldn't spout off what the physical requirements are, but that's the general idea. How much do they have to lift, push, pull, climb on ladders? In this case, I would assume there would be ladder climbing for a maintenance type position.
Okay.
Okay. That is it for new business. Okay.
Any more questions? Okay. Entertain a motion to approve all the new business, the changes.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approved. Makes sense what you're doing, I think.
Okay.
All right. Any old business? Certification list.
Perfect. So all certification lists today are for our Public Works Department. I take that back. We do have our Development and Neighborhood Services Department. So we have our Code Enforcement Officer 2 position, which is a promotional position in the Development and Neighborhood Services Department. And we did have our 30-70 split, and it is part of our ASME union. So candidates do need to have a high school diploma and 4 years of experience in the building construction trades, home inspection, environmental inspection, public relations, or again, an equivalent. Have the ability to handle difficult people and situations successfully.
That counts me out.
Then we do have the background checks. And then they must maintain their driver's license, have a valid driver's license and maintain that throughout the duration of employment. And then obtain and maintain their certification through the International Code Council, American Association of Code Enforcement, as a property maintenance housing inspector or an equivalent within 6 months of employment. And then residency requirements. Okay. So we did have 7 applicants. 5 were qualified and invited to the written exam. 2 did score below 70%, leaving us with 3 candidates passing the written and invited to the interview. All 3 passed the interview and are on the list to be certified today. And our stats.
Seem to have a pretty good mixture of ethnicity and gender.
We do, yes.
So this would be the same person that would inspect departments, like the one,
Rentals, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. Next is our labor position. That is an entry-level position in a street division. We did have a 30-70 split, and it is part of the Teamsters Union. So one second here, there we go. So applicants need to have a high school diploma or GED equivalent, have a valid driver's license, and obtain their Class B CDL with air brake endorsement within 3 months. And then again, physical, background, and residency requirements. We had 35 applicants. 33 were qualified and invited to the exam. 3 withdrew. 17 did not show, leaving us with 13 candidates that took and passed the written exam. They were invited to the interview. 1 did not schedule, and 3 scored below 70%. That left us with 9 candidates passing the interview. 7 candidates passed the background check, 2 did not, leaving us with 7 to be certified today. Okay. And 2 pages of stats. Moving on, this is our plant operator 1, which is an entry-level position at our water pollution control plant. And the written exam was weighted at 100%. It's part of the Teamsters Union. So minimum qualifications are high school diploma or GED and mechanical aptitude. And then must obtain within 6 months a CDL Class B with air brake endorsement. And then, of course, background and residency requirements. Plant operators are required to obtain an Iowa Grade 1 wastewater treatment plant operator certification within the first year of employment. And then plant operators hired after July 1st, 2011 must obtain within 4 years of hire their Grade 2 wastewater treatment plant operator certification. And then once they obtain that, they will actually move up to the pay grade of a plant operator 2. So we had 18 applicants. 17 were qualified and invited to the written exam. 9 did not show, and 3 scored below 70%. So that left us with 5 that passed the written, passed the background, and are on the list to be certified. And next we have our stats. Signs and signals technician, you may remember this from last month when you approved the minimum qualifications along with the next position we're gonna have the list, or asking for you to approve the list. So this is an entry-level position in our signs and signals division. We had a 30-70 split, and it is part of the Teamsters Union. So kind of a recap on the minimum qualifications. We have our education requirement. They do need to have 1 year of experience in signs, signals, pavement markings, or general construction, or 1 year of related electronics training. Then we have our certification requirements, and again, physical, driver's license requirements, and residency requirements.
These are the people that set up like the stoplights, the red and green.
Not,
Red for you.
They're always red for me when I'm in a hurry, so I guess who was it?
We're trying to get some.
I want to know who to complain to.
Well, for the timing, actually, that would be our traffic engineer. And if you're talking about downtown, we are having some controller issues. So, I'll preface with that.
I am complaining about Kimberly Road. You had, on East Kimberly Road, they're always red, or whenever I'm in a hurry.
Right.
But anyway,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, so, we have the signs and signals technician and then the senior signs and signals technician. So the premise would be that the junior version of the job would primarily do barricades, street signs, stop signs, things like that, and then learn the basics of the more complicated signals work. And then the senior one would be primarily doing the signals work, which really is repairing controllers, changing the bulbs, those types of activities, and the actual science of the timing and things like that is with our professional traffic engineer.
He's the one who's,
Yes.
there requires a certain mean streak to him, or?
Yes.
Just when you're driving,
Yeah,
you've got a transponder under.
I know it,
Just for old people.
I know it.
So we did have 18 applicants, 13 of those were qualified and invited to the written exam. 4 did not show. 9 candidates passed the written exam and were invited to the interview. 1 did score below 70%, leaving us with 8 candidates that passed the interview. 3 candidates passed the background check. 4 are current employees and previously passed the background check, and 1 failed, leaving us with 7 candidates on the list to be certified. And our stats.
I guess again, it just seems like with all of these, your attempts at diversity seems to be working.
We're very excited about that, yes.
And age diversity too.
Yes.
I noticed that.
So next again is our seniors signs and signals technician. This is a promotional position in the signs and signals division, and we did have a 30-70 split, and it is part of the Teamsters Union. Again, minimum qualifications that were approved last month. We have our education, and then they must have post-high school training in electronics or electrical work, along with 1 year of experience in electronic or electrical field, or 2 years of experience in an electrical field or an equivalent. And then we have our certifications, and then again, physical, driver's license, and background requirements. So we did have 4 applicants. 3 were qualified and invited to the exam. 1 did not show. 2 candidates passed the written exam and were invited to the interview. Both passed and are on the list to be certified today. And then our stats.
I'd be interested sometime in the posting procedure. So let's say you get a plant operator opening. So do you look at all the qualifications and redo any, change any? And then how do you post them, like the first of the month or a certain time? And then for how long and where?
So it all depends. So working with, the human resources does work with the hiring manager to review the minimum qualifications and job description each time it needs to be posted. So when we look at a position, we look at all positions within that division to make sure everything does line up. And then if something needs to be updated on minimum qualifications, that's when we come to you. So today, because you did approve, what was it, lead maintenance specialist and packer driver loader, Those are two positions I will be posting today. Our entry-level positions, per rule, we must post for a minimum of 10 business days. For promotional positions, we must post for a minimum of 5 business days. I will also work with the hiring manager to find out what avenues to actually post and promote those positions on. So there could be specialty, it could be an APWA website. Depending on the type of position, we could post it on LinkedIn. I also share to the Iowa and Illinois community colleges. And then we also have a website called College Central that I can select certain colleges and they can approve our job posting. We also have our Facebook pages that we do promote those positions on as well. If it's something where we do not need to change or update minimum qualifications, as soon as it goes through our pre-recruitment approval process, I will go ahead and post those right away. So it is a timing issue on whether or not minimum qualifications need to be updated or not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So obviously the fire department got theirs all reviewed.
They did. We did like to take a holistic approach and look at all of the positions. So that way, when we do have a promotional opportunity coming up, we're actually not delaying that hiring process.
So is it, you review them when an opening, or do you have an ongoing process of reviewing them all? It's like, this
It's a
month
little
we're
bit of-
gonna do this department, and next month we're gonna do this other one?
It's a little bit of both. Also, we are always taking a look at our applicant pool as the positions open. So if they're, such as our Packer driver loader, we noticed that with CDL rules changing, our applicant pool had started to dwindle down. So we knew we wanted to open that up and actually make it, not deter anybody from actually applying. And open that up and then assist them in order to obtain their CDL as they're working here throughout the city. We pay for the CDL, we pay for their training. And that helps with the diversity as well.
Now, if they would fail, would they have to reimburse the city?
That we would have to take a look at on a case-by-case scenario.
What is typically happen? Or maybe it doesn't happen?
I-
Yeah. About a year ago, CDL rules changed. And so we can primarily do all of that work in-house. So we actually have, within our transit division and within our Teamsters division, we have an employee who's basically assigned to assist people in getting their CDLs. So our cost isn't like to a college or anything like that. Our cost is really that employee's time. So that employee, when they're training someone to get their CDL, is kind of pushed off their regular duty and doing that one-on-one training. So it's really more of an opportunity cost. So we don't charge the person back, but that's why we put really short timelines. Because if they're not actively engaging in the process with their trainer and not actively trying to pass those tests, we're not going to invest more time in them. So that's why it's really the short time, but no payback requirement.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
that would be it then.
All right, we've had the certification list. Entertain a motion to approve them all.
Go ahead.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any other business? Anybody has? Now, we almost got half an hour.
Yeah, geez. Long meeting.
Motion for
Like waiting
adjournment,
for a stoplight.
I make the motion, really?
especially on 53rd. Motion for adjournment.
Make motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we stand adjourned.
All right.